Hello everyone. Today we are talking about Pelikan again. I wanted to make a comparison between three Pelikans. As you may have understood by now, Pelikan is one of my favorite brands, and the reason why I'm making this video is that I wanted to talk about the nibs of these pens. We have a fairly modern Pelikan with a stainless steel nib, and this is a nice quality nib. Here we have a M400 with a gold nib, which is fairly hard. It doesn't have a lot of flexibility. This is a more elastic than the stainless steel version, due to the fact that it's also a little larger and it's gold, so gold is obviously softer. And then we have the vintage Pelikan 100N, which I have reviewed in my last video, which has a flexible nib which is gold. So in my opinion, one step further in the chain of nib quality. So what I wanted to show you is that really Pelikan is a good pen manufacturer, and they pay a lot of attention on the nibs regardless of the price point. And obviously you can be satisfied with a stainless steel modern Pelikan, but let's see how good it is compared to the higher price points and in all fairness, higher quality. So these are in order of not only price point, but in my opinion also overall satisfaction that you can get from the writing experience from Pelikan. Let's start by taking a look at how the M150 writes. This is a 1990s version of the Pelikan M150. This is a fine nib, but as you can see, and as it will be even more clear when I take out the other two pens, this fine is not so fine, but we can still consider it a fine nib. Maybe I would define medium. If I didn't have the F here on the nib itself, I would say that this writes like medium or a European fine. But since we have other two pens to play with, let's take the M400 for a spin. This is a 1980s Pelikan M400, and it has a beautiful gold nib, beautiful finish, and really nice writing experience that you get from this pen. All three pens have pretty much the same quality of ink. This is a Mont Blanc Sepia. Here I have the Mont Blanc midnight blue, and then I have this sepia as well. So we have pretty much the same ink in all three pens. Let's try the M400. Here we have a really nice feedback. You can already tell that you have a little bit of line variation from what I'm writing. And this is a fine as well. So here you get a slightly finer line and you get a little bit of line variation, which I really like. And I think this is a little finer than the M150. Still, I think you could define this medium if you didn't have the F here on the nib, indicating that it's actually a fine. And here we have a little bit more feedback, as I already mentioned, but it's a very pleasant feedback, and it doesn't bother with what you're writing, and it really helps with the control that you get on the paper. So I think this can be a very good step moving forward from a standard stainless steel Pelikan, let's say. And these are not crazy expensive. You can find these in pretty good condition. This one is from the mid 80s, and it's really not that hard to find these on the internet, and they go for about 200 euros. So it is expensive for a pen, obviously, but for what you're getting, in my opinion, it's a fair price. Let's try the 100N, which I have already reviewed, so you know that it has a very fine line. And let's see it. There is no designation here on the nib for the Pelikan 100. They didn't use the FM convention here on these nibs, but I would say that this is actually a fine. I would call this a fine, even if it's finer than the other two, but I would call it a fine because this is what a fine nib should look like, in my opinion. If you check the horizontal lines, which in this case are vertical, because as you know I'm writing in a weird way because I'm left-handed, you can see that it is actually finer than the other two. And you can also see we have a quite flexible nib here. So you get a lot of line variation, and you get a very pleasant feedback. If you can hear, this is my favorite nib, also because it is attached to a marvelous pen with a celluloid body and beautiful writing instrument. This one has an ebonite feed, so you get a really good ink flow. This is a step up even from the M400. The 100N is my favorite, I have to say. The way that you feel the paper while you're writing is unparalleled by the other two. I have to say the M400 is a really nice writer, and it has a little bit of feedback, but not as much as the 100N. This one I can say that it gives a pretty good experience when writing, and the fact that it has no feedback, some people could appreciate it even more than the M400 and the 100N. In my case, I like feedback a little better than just smoothness. This one is really smooth, I have to say. This is the first purchase that I made in the Pelikan realm, and I have to say I'm really satisfied with this. Even though it's not my favorite, I still use it pretty much every day, and I write notes and whatnot with this pen. So I hope you like this video, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.